mercy on Jacob. The children of Libya killing the sons of Jacob. The children of Egypt oppressing the sons of Jacob. Yes, Ethiopia oppressing the sons of Jacob. The shepherds of Canaan killing the sons of Jacob. And my shepherds touching the sheep of Zion. Oh no, no compassion. I have mercy. The people of India killing the sons of Jacob. The children of Japheth killing the sons of Jacob. Sons of Arabia killing the sons of Jacob. Children of Ishmael deceiving the sons of Jacob. Kidnapping the sons of Jacob. Baby selling the sons of Jacob. Spoiling the sons of Jacob. I have mercy, yeah. I have mercy, have mercy on Jacob. I have mercy on Jacob. I have mercy on Jacob. I have mercy on Jacob. Hey, Lord, I see Esau towing the path of fire. I see Esau slaying his mental slavery, emotional slavery, psychological slavery, political slavery, educational slavery, economical slavery, religious slavery, Amalekite soldiers slaying sons of Jacob. Amalekite soldiers waging war on Zion. Christmas slavery, Easter slavery, Sunday slavery, pharmaceutical slavery. Instead of a graveyard to bury the sons of Jacob. See the vultures, they're eating the flesh of Jacob. See poverty, eating the flesh of Jacob. Pharmacare, eating the flesh of Jacob. Is there no graveyard to bury the sons of Jacob? See the vultures eating the flesh of Jacob. There's no more Gilead, no more Gilead. Most High to Gilead. There's no more Gilead. Comfort ye my people. Speak comfortably to Jerusalem and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. For she had received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. Even I, am he that comforts you. Who are you that you should be afraid of a man that shall die, and the Son of Man which shall be made as grass, and forget Ahijah, your maker, the one who stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth, and has feared continually every day because of the fury of the oppressor, as if he were ready to destroy. Where is the fury of the oppressor? The captive exile hastens that he may be loosed, and he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread should fail. Ahijah is my name, your power, that divides the sea whose waves roared. Ahijah of hosts is my name. And I have put my words in your mouth, and I have covered you in the shadow of my hand, that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundations of the earth, and say unto Zion, you are my people. Awake! Awake! Stand up, all your hast drunk at the hands of the Lord the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunk in the dregs of the cup of trembling and run now. Oh, there is none to guide her among all the sons of whom she hath brought forth. Neither is there any that taketh her by the hands of all the sons that she hath brought up. These two things have come upon thee, and who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction, and the famine and the sword. By whom shall I comfort thee? By whom shall I comfort thee? Thy sons have fainted, they lie at the head of the streets, as a wild bull in the net. They are full of the fury of the Most High, the rebuke of your power. Therefore, hear now this: thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith thy power, Ahoy, Ashah, Ahoy. I am your strength that pleads the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of your hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. You shall no more drink it again, but I will put it into the hands of them that afflict you, which have said to your soul, bow down that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and on the street to them that went over. Behold, my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come out of your graves. I will bring you into the land of Yeshua.
Every good thing given and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights.
Children of the light, children of the light. 144, get ready for the fight. On Yeshua, our redemption is right. Children of the light, we're the children of the light. Children of the light, children of the light. 144, get ready for the fight. On Yeshua, our redemption is right. Children of the light, we're the children of the light. Yeshua, Mama Ruah, bring a holy fire. Fire, warriors, daughters of Zion. Yeshua, born as a lion. We are children of the light, children of the light.
Shalom, shalom, family. This is Brother Maurice with One Nation, One Power, Church of Christ, coming to you with another lesson. And the title of this lesson is How to Witness to Our Brothers and Sisters. It's going to be very important, family, that we understand the way the Father wants us to witness to our brothers and sisters, because there are some things that we're doing that we're not aware of that are actually turning our brothers and sisters away from the scriptures. And as we look on these different platforms, especially on Facebook, and we look at the way we deal with our brothers and sisters, it's not right. It's not right. And the only thing we're doing is we are pushing the family away. And that's the last thing that the Father wants us to do, is to push his people away. So we're going to go over, and this is just going to be part one on the things that we need to do. And as I studied and put this information together, I'm like, wow, it was an eye-opener to me. And some of the things that I was doing that was not correct. But we all make mistakes because we're still on this earth and we're still learning. So let's go ahead and begin. We're going to start with Doctrines and Covenants, section 39. And we're going to come from verse 9 down through 13. And it says, nevertheless, thou hast seen great sorrow, for thou hast rejected me many times because of pride and the cares of the world. But behold, the days of thy deliverance are come, if thou wilt hearken to my voice, which saith unto thee, arise and be baptized, and wash away your sins, calling on my name, and you shall receive my spirit, and a blessing so great as you never have known. Verse 11. And if thou do this, I have prepared thee for a greater work. So now, if you repent and you get baptized and you start following these commandments, it says, I have prepared thee for a greater work. Thou shalt preach the fullness of my gospel, which I have sent forth in these last days, the covenant which I have sent forth to recover my people, which are the house of Israel. And it shall come to pass that the power shall rest upon thee. Thou shalt have great faith, and I will be with thee, and go before thy face. Thou art called to labor in my vineyard, and to build up my church, and to bring forth Zion, that it may rejoice upon the hills and flourish. John chapter 15, verse 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go forth and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain. And whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. Matthew 5, verses 13 through 16. It says, ye are the salt of the earth, even as ye are given as examples unto all men. Did you hear that? You're given as examples unto all men of the peace that ye have received from the Father. But if the salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall the earth be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out again into the earth from whence it came, and to be trodden under foot by men. For the Father will not have those, whom he hath chosen give a false example of him. Verse 14, I am the light of the world, that the Father hath given unto the world, that lieth in darkness. And he that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. And ye have been given me of the Father. Therefore, ye also are the light of the world. And with the light that the Father hath given unto us, we shall be as a city of lights, set on a hill that is given light unto all the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid, because it is in the view of all the world. Therefore, men who have received light cannot hide it from the world. Neither do men light a candle and make a measure of that light unto others by putting it under a bushel. For the light cannot be measured to any man in a portion, but he putteth it on a candlestick, so that all may partake equally thereof. And it shall give light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before all men by the good works that ye do, because of the light that the Father hath given unto you, that they might see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Doctrines and Covenants, section 43, verse 27 to 29. And it says, behold, verily I say unto you, that these are the words of the Lord your God. Wherefore, labor ye in my vineyard for the last time, call upon the inhabitants of the earth. For in mine own due time I will come upon the earth in judgment, and my people shall be redeemed and shall reign with me on the earth. Now let's go to the book of remembrance and other visions, dreams, and revelations. And it says in the Revelation 7, verse 13, it says, Yea, bring forth my word, that you may be prepared to receive more of my word. Did you hear that? Bring forth my word, that you may be prepared to receive more of my word, and you shall be blessed. Follow my spirit, and you shall not be led astray. Now let's take a look at the Third Testament, chapter 8, verse 35. And it says, Have above all the knowledge of what my work is. Did you hear that? Have above all the knowledge, what my work is, of what my laws mean, and what your task is, and how you must carry it out, so that if you have no guide worthy to direct your steps in your way, you may guide yourselves by conscience and by knowledge you have gained in my teaching. Thus, you will not be able to blame anyone for any misstep or error. Still in the Third Testament, let's jump to, still in chapter 8, verse 16, and we'll go through to verse 19. And it says, I have given the office of foundation stone to those who are to be examples of firmness, stability, and strength among the people. Their word, advice, and example among the people shall be unchanging as the rock is. But now, as this period of my rallies draw to an end, I address all offices, and to all those who are chosen, and to all those who are chosen to receive such great task, I make a call for them to investigate themselves thoroughly. So before we can go out and do our task, we must investigate ourselves thoroughly and see the result of their works. In this hour of reflection, I stand by all. Verse 18. As in all times, there were many called and few chosen, because I mention only those who are ready in the time to fulfill their task. And to the rest, I give a light so they can expect the time when they are likewise chosen. So we have some people that are chosen to bring this word forth now. And then later on, others will also be chosen to bring this word forth. That's why we all should be studying. Verse 19. How many who have only been called without it having already been time to choose them for a mission have been placed among my disciples and workmen. Without their spirits, having had the development absolutely necessary to bear the burden of this cross. So we have some people that start this work, but they're not ready to bear the burden of this cross, nor in their minds. The light necessary to receive my inspirations. What have many of them done after being in the ranks of the chosen ones? So now those that started this work and the Father didn't call them just yet, is saying, what have they done? What have they done? It says desecrate, poison the atmosphere, infect the others with their bad inclinations, lie, sow discord, proliferate with my name and with the gifts of the Spirit that I have placed in my disciples. Third Testament, chapter 63, verse 120 to 124. Love, speak when you should. Be quiet when it is appropriate. To no one say that you are my chosen. Hear that? To no one say that you are my chosen. Flee from adulation. That's excessive admiration or praise. We don't want to have the praise of men. And do not publicize the charity you do, but work in silence. Testify by your works of love to the truth in my doctrine. To love is your destiny. Love. For you will thereby cleanse the stains from both this and your previous life. Reject adulation. Okay, so they're saying reject those that want to praise you. You don't want to have the praise of man. Why? It says, for it is a weapon that destroys your noble sentiments. It is the sword that can kill the faith I have ignited in your heart. How can you let men destroy the altar you bear in the depths of your being? Now, listen here. Do not confuse humility with poverty of dress, nor should you believe that he is humble, who, believing in his own inferiority, makes that the reason to bow to others and serve them. I tell you that he who is truly humble values who he is, and knowing that he has some knowledge, knows how to descend to others and enjoy sharing what he has with them. So we need to learn how to deal with people on different levels, not putting ourselves up above anyone or humiliating others also. We have to remain humble. Even though you deal with these people and these people say, well, I know what I'm doing, and I've been in this Christianity for such and such a time, or I've been a Muslim for such and such a time, and I've been reading this word, you still must remain calm and you must remain humble. Third Testament, chapter 59. Let's take a look at verse 28 through 30. And it says, understand, people, in this third era, you as witnesses who have witnessed this divine rallies have the task of spreading this message faithfully and truthfully. Did you hear that? We have the task of spreading this message faithfully and truthfully. You have been called and chosen to bring the good news to humanity, to teach your fellow men the spiritual way, the only one that leads you to peace and true light, and to all embracing brotherhood. Now, listen to this. Have patience and understanding, for it is not you that mankind shall acknowledge, but my work, my teaching, and it is eternal. Your task is to bring with your words and deeds the message that reveals to men the way in which they can take a step towards perfection. That's our task. Our task here is to bring this information to them so that they can work towards perfection. How do we do it? Verse 30, built on firm ground, so that what I have built in you in spirituality and renewal may not be destroyed by the unbelievers. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to dig into the Third Testament, chapter 60. This Third Testament, chapter 60, gives us a lot of information on how we are to spread this word. Right now, we're going to look at verses 1 through 39. That's all we're going to take a look at today, verse 1 through 39. And there's a lot of information in here of the way we're supposed to be witnessing to others. Verse 1. Hold on a second. How difficult it seems to you to find a way to fulfill your task in this time. But I tell you that it is not difficult, because mankind is prepared to receive my message. At all times, the weak are despondent meaning discouraged, in the face of battle, while the strong have shown that faith in my law overcomes all. Your destiny, Israel, has been to always bring new messages and revelations to the world, which is why you sometimes doubt whether you will find faith. Let me read that again. Your destiny, Israel. That's not me saying it. That's the words that's actually in the book. Your destiny, Israel, has been to always bring new messages and revelations to the world, which is why you sometimes doubt whether you will find faith. But have no fear. Take the seed which I've entrusted to you and sow it. Did you hear that? Take the seed which I've entrusted to you and sow it. That's the only thing we're supposed to do right now, is just sow that seed. Just sow it, just plant it. Remember, one plants, one water, and the Father is the one that gives the increase. If they don't believe you, don't worry about it. Just sow the seed, and the Father will take care of the rest with those individuals. You will already see how many of the fields you will find fertile. And some of you already are finding these fields that are fertile. And once this economy crash, a whole lot of you are going to be finding these fields that are fertile, which you thought to be barren, when they are made fruitful with the truth of my word. Do not fail to do your work because you feel unworthy. Verily, I tell you, whoever has a mission and fails to carry it out, listen to this. Whoever has a mission and fails to carry it out acts as wickedly as he who knowingly defiles the law. So we know who we are. We know we're Israel. We always say we're kings and queens. A lot of people forget that end part. We're priests. We have to spread this word. Verse 5. Do not forget that the Father will demand an account from you in the end, both for what you have done evil and for what you have failed to do. Know that both the one and the other transgressions will cause suffering to your spirits. Why is it going to cause suffering to our spirit? Because when we turn back to the Father and that veil is removed, we're going to remember all the things that we promised the Father that we were going to do. We're going to remember these things. It's going to be crystal clear. But now it's no surprise to us because we understand who we are. We know we're Israel. We know that. But now we see what our task is. Our task is to spread this word. That's why we're supposed to be studying to show ourselves approved. We have to study. You hear it all year when you're on his lives. What do he tell you? Get your pencil and your paper. What's Brother Quadash say? Get your pencil and your paper. What's all the other brothers out there that are that are spreading this word. What are they telling you? Get your pencil and paper. Some of them don't, but we should all know that because we're listening to learn. We're just not listening to listening. We're listening to learn so that we can be prepared when these people come to us and we have to give this word to them. Verse number 6, spread my teaching, speak my word to men, convince them with your works of love, convince them with your works of love, works of love, works of love. Now we need to think about how we're talking to the people. Are we talking to the people? Are we talking down to the people? Are we talking with them? Or are we talking at them? We really have to pay attention on how we are giving this word. And it should be done in love. Invite them to hear me. And when they come with the crowds and the light of faith is kindled in their hearts, I will call them children of the new people of Israel. Verse 7, to those who rise from the mire, the dirt, and selfishness to a life of service and active charity for their fellow men, I will show as an example that my teaching has light and grace to renew sinners. This example will spread to all hearts. Verse 8, who would not wish to be among those who bear witness to me? But truly I tell you, if your actions do not truly come from the heart, if your actions do not truly come from the heart, they will not bear fruit with your fellow men. And you will often hear them calling you hypocrites and false preachers. And I do not want it to happen to you in this way. Verse 9, you must know that in this day and age, it is very difficult to fool men. Spirit is awakened. We're having all these different awakenings that are taking place. So you're not going to be able to pull the wool over their eyes. You know, this isn't like it was back when we were in those churches. And even if they are lost in the materialism of their existence, they are sensitive to every spiritual manifestation. But if you cannot deceive your fellow men, can you deceive your Father? Verse 10, let the love of the master take shelter in your being, that you may forgive your enemies as he forgives you. Then your heart will be like a lifeline among men. Have no fear of men. For verily I say to you, I will speak through your mouth, testify my word through you, and the echo of it will reach to the ends of the earth, to the great, to the small, to the rulers, to the scientists, and to the theologians. Verse 12, I say to you again that you must not be afraid of confrontation. You must not be afraid of confrontation. So tell your fellow men with the greatest naturalness that the Lord has come to you. Tell them that he who died on the cross was Yeshua, or Jesus, the body in which Christ was hiding, the living temple in which the word of God dwelt. But that Christ, the divine love, lives and comes to his children in the Spirit to teach them the way that will lead them into his spiritual kingdom. Now we're doing a lot more on the spiritual side, and the Father wants us teaching them more spiritual things. Let them know where they came from. You must wake up their inner man so they understood that they came from the kingdom, that they are spirit being inside of this shell. Let them know the truth so that they can understand. Verse 15. How will you be able to lead humanity to attain spirituality in an epoch of so much materialization and spiritual confusion? Be aware that your work is difficult, that you must be strong and patient. You must be strong and patient in the struggle to accomplish it. Verse 17. You must make a great effort to correct the wrong interpretation given to my law. This is a big part right here. You must make a great effort to correct the wrong interpretation given to my law. And also the imperfect way in which you offer your worship to me. So we got to correct the law issue and correct the worship issue. What were we taught when we went in these churches for worship? Slinging slow songs. That's what we thought worship was. And what were you taught about the law? The laws of God are done away with. Let's take a look at the seal portion for a second, chapter 37. And we're going to read verse number 81. And it says, and John answered them, saying, even in all these things that ye have done, ye have not kept the commandments of God in any. For the Lord hath not commanded these things of you, but they have been given unto you as commandments of men. And also you have been given the lower law of Moses, which is not the law of the Father, but a law that should point you towards the Father, that ye might have his Spirit to be with you. So now, for our brothers and sisters that awaken to who they are, and they have not awakened to the truth, they are all trying to follow the law of Moses. And now we see what the scripture says here. It is not the law of the Father. It will point them there, but it's not the law of the Father. Now let's take a look at Matthew chapter 5, verse number 18. Because people need to understand what true worship is, and they need to know where to go to find the law. And that's what they'll get in Matthew chapter 5, verse 18. It says, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, if it were possible, not one jot or tittle shall in no wise pass from the law which have been given till all be fulfilled. For this is the law and the prophets, even all the commandments that have been given by the Father. And you should worship God. Okay, let's pay attention so we can get the real understanding of what worship means. That you should worship God, how? With all your heart, might, mind, and soul. Listen to this now. By keeping his commandments. Did you hear that? And that you shall worship God with all your heart, might, mind, and soul by keeping his commandments. That's your worship right there. Not singing slow songs, keeping his commandments. And this is his commandments. Now pay attention. Now they're about to tell you what the commandments are. That you do unto others what you would have them do unto you. And there shall be no more law given. Now pay attention. There shall be no more law given. Pay attention. Except those commandments that I give unto you this day. So now Christ is about to rattle off the commandments. This is where you can begin to find them in Matthew chapter 5. in the back of the sealed portion. Now, let's go back for a second to verse number 17, because the Father put something great on us that we must do. Verse 17 of the Third Testament, chapter 60 said, "You must make a great effort to correct the wrong interpretation given to my law, and also the imperfect way in which you offer your worship to me." Now you know those two major things that we have to do, that we need to correct with people once they believe this word. Let's continue. We're still in the Third Testament now, chapter 60, verse number 18. You must bear in mind, hold on a second before I read this. The things that you're going to tell these people are going to be a shock to them because they were born just like us and brought up in all these lies. Now, when you go and you reveal this truth to them, it's going to take some time for them to come into this understanding and to be able to do the things that they're supposed to do. And that's why verse 18 says, "But you must bear in mind that you cannot change your ideas and forms of worship in a moment, but that in order to achieve this, you must arm yourselves with patience and goodwill and set an example of love with your works." When you tell somebody what true worship is, people don't want to believe it because they've been doing this all their lives. It's hard for them to understand that. The Bible talks about praise, singing praise to the Father. The Bible does not say sing worship to the Father. He does not want us to honor him with our lips, and our hearts are far from him. So we honor him by worshiping him, by keeping his commandments. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be hard for them. It's going to be hard, but be patient with them. Verse 19, only those who are pure in heart may go to the countries and nations to spread my message, for they will be the only ones worthy to bear witness to the truth of this work. When these messengers set out for the countries which await them, every religious fanaticism must already be erased from their hearts. So now when it comes time for us spreading this word, all of these things that we were doing in these different religions, they must be erased from our hearts. We cannot carry that garbage over. We have to let it all go. There must no longer be the slightest desire for flattery or admiration, nor must their hand dare to be stained with the money of the world for the work of love which they perform. They shall not sell miracles, neither shall they fix a price for love one to another. They shall be servants, not masters. Did you hear that? We are servants. A lot of times we take this word and we understand we have a higher level of understanding, a higher level of knowledge, but we do not throw that in the face of those that we are trying to bring into this truth because they don't want to hear that. Only thing you did was you turned off their off switch. So be careful when you're spreading this word to them. Verse 22, the time will come when you will understand the greatness of true humility. And then you will know that he who knew how to be a servant was in reality free in his task of doing good and spreading mercy. And that faith, confidence, and peace accompanied him in his life. Faith, mercy, confidence, and peace. Verse 23. I tell you that you will feel it When your spirit is prepared to teach my teaching. Let me read that again. I tell you that you will feel it when your spirit is prepared to teach my teaching to your fellow men. For this will be when you have found yourselves. You will then clearly hear the voice of conscience. As long as this does not apply with you, you will not be able to truly feel me. Verse 24. Listen carefully to this word, that you may interpret it and sow it into the hearts of your fellow men. Do not be content to understand it. Speak of it. Give an example to teach by your works. Be sensitive, that you may know when is the right time to speak and when is the right time for your deeds to bear witness of my teachings. Let me read that again. Be sensitive. Be sensitive. I'm going to read something here. Because we really need to be sensitive with our people. We really need to pay attention to how we are dealing with our people. You know, we are already up against the people that got the jump on us in this awakening. And when I say that we're already against it, we're already behind the power curve, is because the people that are on the street, the camps, they woke up. And so they got ahead of everything. And because they did, they did so much stuff that people don't want to hear us. People don't want to have nothing to do with those what they call black Israelites. They don't want nothing to do with them. So now when we talk to them, we really have to be careful. Some of them say, oh, I know who you are. You're one of them black Israelites. And now they think that we're part of a hate group. And that's because Satan got the jump on us by putting those people out there. I'm going to read a message, but I'm not going to give any names. And I'm only going to read part of the message. We all know that we didn't receive this truth until the end of December 2019. And those people that are waking up to who they are, they woke up to who they are. But we're just recently waking up. No one's been waking up. Well, I say the majority of people have not waken up to who they are more than 10 years ago. We did have a small group, but here it says, they're responding to a person. They said, you're 76 years old. You should know the truth by now. You're stuck in religions. Stop asking me questions about the Bible. You do not read it. I do not have time for your games. You can't play with me about the Bible or whatever you are trying to do because it's not working. Stick with your religions. I'm not interested. You have no idea about what kind of games you're playing. You're a sad person. Your religion, oh man, I did a screen capture, so I didn't capture all this. But the only thing this person did was they asked a question. They asked a question, and the only thing this person did was beat them down. I told them, come to my page, send me a message, and I'll respond back to your question. But I didn't want to do that on their page. How are we spreading this word when we treat people like this? And this person was 76 years old. This person's on Facebook, and they're asking a question. And then how in the world do you have the audacity to talk to your senior, your elder like that? Like they're a piece of worthless little child. Be sensitive. Not just to the old people or the older people, to everyone. I was mad when I saw that. I was. And there's a whole lot of other things, but I don't want to put all that mess out there, because some of you, we all read the same post. And there's going to be at least one person on here that's going to be like, oh man, I'm going to tell them that they need to come and hear what they said about you. Go ahead, demon. Take that back to them. It's all right. I can handle it. All right. Where were we? Where did we leave off at? Where did we leave off at? Verse 25. And it says, I give you one language to spread my word. And this language is the spiritual love, which will be understood by all men. It is a language pleasing to the ear and the heart of men, which will pull down stone by stone the Tower of Babylon, which they have built in their hearts. Then my judgment will end, because all will consider themselves brothers and sisters. All will consider themselves brothers and sisters. Verse number 27. And it says, only when you have changed inwardly, only when you have changed inwardly, will I send you to the world to spread my message. Did you hear that? Only when you change inwardly. If ugly is still in you, the Father can't use you. You got to change inwardly. You have to have love. For only when spirituality is genuine in the disciples will they know how to pass on as they have received from me. Verse number 28. Remember that my teaching is not limited to your ideas and understanding. My teaching is not limited to your ideas and understanding. That sounds just like the people that are Bible only. They think that the Father is limited to just that one book. My divine wisdom has no limit. No one can claim to have known or understood any of my revelations before I revealed them to him. This is deep right here. This is deep. Because if you think you woke yourself up, you're out of your crazy mind. It says, my divine wisdom has no limit. No one can claim to have known or understood any of my revelations before I revealed them to him. While the scientists try to explain everything with their material knowledge, I reveal to the humble ones the spiritual life, the actual life, in which is the cause, reason, and explanation of everything that exists. Out of the knowledge that you impart will arise the conception that men will have for my work. Many will judge my teachings according to your inconspicuousness, or this says not clearly visible. So people are going to judge the Father's teachings by you being not clearly visible or attracting attention. And why? It says because of a lack of understanding. Just as in the second age, Jesus the Christ was judged by his humble appearance and simple garment. And because those 12 who followed him were also simply clothed, but I tell you in truth that they were not covered with rags. So it's just like today when we're out there, we're talking to people. You don't have to have, be walking around with Jordans or whatever these most expensive shoes are. But I tell you the truth that they were not covered with rags. Your clothes don't have to be beat up. And that they had only scorned the earth. They had only, it says, they had only scorned the earthly vanities because they had understood on the basis of my teaching what the true values of the Spirit were. So they weren't worried about their outer appearance. They dressed decent, but they didn't have to put on all these designer things. But they weren't walking around beat up, looking with rags on. Because they understood it's all about the Spirit. Verse 31, I tell you, disciples, when men set out to study my work and they seek you out and question you, do not, listen to this, do not be tempted to think yourselves superior because of the knowledge you have received from me. Let me repeat that again now. Remember, we have to be humble. Do not be tempted to think yourself superior because of the knowledge you have received from me. The more humble you show yourselves, the nobler and more trustworthy they will think you are. Be humble. Verse number 32. In this way, the light that dissolves fanaticism and frees the spirit will gradually advance from man to man. And those who call themselves Christians without being so will know and interpret the true teachings of Christ through this light. For it will give them an uplifting conception of the spiritual life of which Jesus spoke in his teachings. You cannot go to men in a false or only feigned armor, for their spirit is developed, and the bandage which covered their eyes has long since fallen off. So people can start to see some spiritual things. They might not be correct. That's why you can't come to them with anything. 34. Bring spirituality to them, offer them peace, and create your surroundings an atmosphere of well being and brotherhood. Create yourself surroundings of an atmosphere of well being and brotherhood, not strife. Then you will experience how they will listen to you and accept your words, in which my inspirations and my strength will lie. 35. Listen to this now. This is another thing that I see on Facebook with it. It's just so wrong. When you preach, teach peace. When you preach and teach peace, be peaceable yourselves. Be peaceable yourselves. When you speak of love, feel it before you express it in words. If your fellow men likewise offer you their fruits, do not reject them. Examine all that you come to know and keep to what is permissible and right in their teachings. Let me break this down, because we understand that we have the fullness of the gospel But still, there's information that they got out of the Bible that is correct. So when you're having a peaceful conversation and they bring something to you that is correct in the Bible, acknowledge it. Yep, brother. Yep, that's right. That's the truth there, right there. Let me read this again. If your fellow men likewise offer you their fruits, so you're talking back and forth and you're trying to give them the fruits of this truth, and they're giving you fruits of things that they know, do not reject them. Examine all that you come to know and keep to what is permissible and right in their teachings. So now, as you're having this conversation with them, and they're trying to say, "Well, I know this from the Christian church," and yep, brother, that's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. Yeah, brother, but y'all still don't have it. Y'all still jacked up. That's absolutely correct. Accept what they have. You're having a conversation. Verse number 36. You will also meet those who, having become fanatical in their practice of religion, have diminished their comprehension by the materialization of their ritual acts. You shall then, listen now, patiently help them to enlarge their knowledge. Patiently, patiently, not step on them, not call them names, patiently. Show them the horizons which their spirit can reach when they deepen themselves in my teaching. You are to speak to them about my universal spirit, about the immortality of the spirit, its continual development. You shall teach them true prayer, the dialogue of spirit, and free them from prejudice and error. This is the work that I command you, a work of love and patience, a work of love and patience. 38. Heal all sufferings, both of body and of the spirit, because your task is to comfort, strengthen, and heal your neighbor. But I ask you, how could you impart health to the needy if you yourselves were sick? What kind of peace could flow out of your spirit when it is disturbed by worries, sufferings, tortures of conscience, and low passions? Only that which you have accumulated in your heart, only that which you have accumulated in your heart will you be able to offer your fellow men. We'll read this one last time. Only that which you have accumulated in your heart will you be able to offer to your fellow men. So I pray that you have accumulated love in your heart, because that's what you're going to give them. So, family, this is part one. We'll come back within the next day or so with part two. We have to understand how we are to deal with our brothers and sisters when we bring them this truth, because there are things that we're doing that are turning them away. And we need to get this right, because when this economy falls, you're going to have to be ready. You're going to have to be ready. Remember, the Father said you're going to have to give an account also of the things that you've done. So let's be wise. Let's always remember love when we deal with our brothers and sisters. Remember, treat them the way that you want to be treated. I don't even know if I should say that. I should maybe say, treat them the way that you would want someone to treat your mom. Because someone you might say, well, they can talk to me any way that they want to. Yeah. Well, family, that's all that I have right now. I'll be back in another day or so to continue this here lesson. Shalom. Shalom, family. Love you,
Every
family.
good thing given and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights.
Children of the light, children of the light. 144, get ready for the fight.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. Love you all, family. All praise to the Most High for this lesson, because it's a lesson that is definitely well needed before we get out there and start dealing with all these people.
Please click the like button and subscribe, because we are trying to get our people back to the kingdom.
Shalom, shalom, family. Shalom, family. Love you all, family. Shalom, Sister Annette Douglas, Sister Annette Phelps, Sister Betha Barbara, Brother Charles, Sister Daphne Felix. Shalom. Thanks for all that you're doing. Shalom, my brother Darren, Brother Darrell Gunter. Shalom, shalom. Sister D. Puri, DJ Judah, Darren Pierre, One Nation One Power. Shalom. Brother Jermaine. Shalom. Sister Julia. Shalom. Sister Kalila, Sister Miriam, Yah Bethany, my brother Paul, shalom, shalom. Brother Roger Wagner, shalom. My brother Ruddy, shalom, shalom, brother. Shalom, Sister Valerie Garner. Shalom, Sister VV, or Brother VV, shalom, shalom. Brother Jay, shalom. Sister Rebecca, Ephraim, shalom, shalom. Shalom, Sister Annette. I think I have everybody, and if I forgot or passed anyone, I'm sorry. Let me go through and make sure I hit everyone up. And if I miss you once again, I'm sorry, family. Love you, family. Brother Charles Reese, shalom. All right, family. Enjoy your evening. Love you, family. I'll be talking to you soon. Shalom.
Children of the light, 144, get ready for the fight. One Yasharala, our redemption is back. Children of the light, with the children of the light.
Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Brother Ivan.
144, get ready for the fight. One Yasharala, our redemption is back. Children of the light, with the children of the light.
While you have light, believe in the light.
Shalom, shalom, Sister
that you may
Kimberly
be
Pluckett.
children of the light.
Shalom, family.